So I've been thinking, and I've been kind of wondering if the time that we're all experiencing right now is a good thing. Um, if when we go back to church, go back to hanging out with people and singing songs to them and talking to people we don't talk to every week at church, what it will be like. If it'll be something we just pick up right where we left off, or if it'll be something that'll take a little while to get used to again because we haven't done it in so long. We're used to doing new things and things different ways, and um, it makes me think of a phrase: if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's a kind of a goofy phrase, but in all reality, it's real, right? If you're a runner and you run every day and you train your body to run, you're not going to have any problem going out and running day after day after day. But if you stop running for 3 months and you decide, you know what, I decide I'm going to run again, you can't just pick right up where you used to be. If you used to run 5, 6, 7 miles a day and you don't run for 3 months, you think you're just going to do it, your body's going to be hurting. You might not make it. Like there's people right now that are introverts that, they know that being part of a church community is good, but they're just loving the way things are right now because they don't have to interact in ways that are exhausting with church members around them, and they don't have to have all these other worries around them, and they kind of are becoming more and more secluded and really liking the life they live. And it's almost like are we conditioning our bodies to be something we aren't supposed to be, or to not do what we're supposed to do? And I can't help but wonder, maybe that's the case. Will we not know how to talk when we go back? You see, whenever we remove something from our lives, such as church, like that's been taken away recently, something else replaces it. And we need to be careful of what replaces that thing that used to be in our lives. It's like the story of the King Josiah. He was a king and he became king when he was like just 8 years old. And then he's king for a while. 18 years later, he's 26 years old and he decides, let's clean the temple. And they clean the temple. And when they're cleaning the temple, they find this book and it's got dust all over. It's old. And they realize this is the law book, right? This is the book that has all the laws and the rules of how we're supposed to live as people. But the problem is they kind of stopped doing that. They kind of fell away from that, and they gradually became less and less aware of what they were supposed to be doing. And then soon enough, now they're at this point where they have psychics and they have idols in their houses and they worship other gods, and they're doing all these things that they're not supposed to do. And my thought is, I wonder if we're doing that now. I wonder what things we're doing now that we shouldn't be doing, and as our church practices, as these things that we're supposed to be doing that are healthy practices, we're not allowed to do. As those collect dust, what are we replacing those things with? And can we do anything to keep those practices from collecting dust? Are there other things we can be doing so we don't forget about them? And on the flip side of that too is we're in a place where we have opportunities to do new things we've never done before. One thing I've noticed is friends of mine and people I know are communicating a lot more, a lot better. We're telling each other stories through Marco Polo, and we're writing messages more, and we're having a different type of intimate relationship. But then again, I think, are we going to continue to hold on to those practices when life goes back to normal? When we start working 40 hours a week, are we going to still be connecting with those people, or are we going to be like, I'm tired, I'm not going to write them, I worked 40 hours this week? Are we going to, instead of be connected with other Christians, are we going to be taking our kids around to sporting events and kind of not really care about some things that we used to do back when COVID-19 was a thing, right? I mean, it goes back to King Josiah again, right? Like he brings this law book back to the center, back to the way things should be. And for a little while, they were good. But over time again, when their lives started getting normal again, it didn't take long for them to forget what the law said again, forget the things they were doing that were honoring God, and gradually start, having idols back in the houses, worshiping other gods, having psychics and mediums and stuff like that. So I just think like what an awesome time we're in today, because not only do we have the opportunity to create new practices that are awesome and amazing, but we can try to keep those from gathering dust when we do go back to our normal lives. But also, let's not forget the things that we did do, because who knows what might happen if we go back to church in next month and we don't know how to talk with one another. I mean, call me crazy, but I think I am a firm believer in if you don't use it, you will lose it. So my encouragement is continue to use the things and the blessings and the gifts God's given us. And let's not forget and let those things gather dust, because they're very important.